There's a story to this song, so while I just make sure it's in tune, I'll tell the story. I wrote this last summer while studying songwriting with James Keelahan up at something called The Woods in Northern Ontario. And I hadn't been in Northern Ontario since I was but a wee lad. And was I ever a wee lad? I don't know. Let's think about that. I think I was. And I went to summer camp for about 8 years when I was a kid in a tiny, tiny, tiny little place in Northern Ontario. And when I was up in that part of Ontario for the first time in all those years, I thought, I'll sneak up and see if it's still there. And was absolutely delighted to discover that it was still there. And there was a wonderful old couple that had run the summer camp. And I really didn't think they'd still be there because they were in their 60s when I was about 8. And was therefore delighted to discover that they were still there too, surrounded by 100 screaming kids. And so all the years I was going there, I never actually knew what their names were because they were always sort of sir and madam to me. And I found out this last summer, Marj and Aubrey. And that's the name of this song. Quite a charmer back in 42. It flew Lancasters over the Rhine. And Marjorie taught a one-room school, reading, writing, and the golden rule, and waited for his letters to arrive. He'd write, "Stay with me always. You know how much I need you. Stay by my side. Stay with me always. I couldn't ever leave you. For as long as you're close and as long as you're near, I know that I can survive." Home in 45, last of his buddies that were still alive took young Marj to be his wife. Well, they moved down to Kingston then, found a house near a wooded glen, settled down to build a life. Marj stayed home and had a son, and Aubrey, not to be outdone, studied to get his law degree. Well, times were hard and times were bad, but Marj and Aubrey, they were never sad, because their love, it was pure and free. And he'd say, "Stay with me always. You know how much I need you. Stay by my side. Stay with me always. I couldn't ever leave you. For as long as you're close and as long as you're near, I know that I can survive." Died in 68. Drunk driver sealed his fate, and poor old Aubrey just fell apart. It was Marj that was stronger then, held him close on those cold nights when he could hear the beating of her heart. And he'd cry, stay with me always, you know how much I need you. Stay by my side. Stay with me always, I couldn't ever leave you. For as long as you're close and as long as you're near, I know that I can survive. Marj had a stroke in '84. She can't hardly talk no more, but there's still love deep in her eyes. They're still together now. They keep on living somehow, 'cause their love, it will never die. He says, stay with me always, you know how much I need you. Stay by my side. Stay with me always, I couldn't ever leave you. For as long as you're close and as long as you're near, I know that I can survive.